Well, I'm very pleased to be here, and especially when we have whole track in two presentations, and I'm very happy about my colleague which just presented with very nice presentation. So thank you for that, and I will continue on that. So the throughways will be in here. Maybe it's a bit different topic. Yeah. So who am I? So if you know Lithuanian, a bit history. Good. Okay, sorry. So it's really easy to remember. So this guy wrote the first Lithuanian book, and I have the city in Lithuania, so it's very easy. And I'm working in gaming industry, which has a lot of numbers, but actually why I'm here is not the same. So we are here to come about DevOps. And we have Dev and we have QA here, but it's like the same as DevOps. And how many of you are here in development? So developers, engineers. Okay, so I have quite interesting slide for you. So we are Agile, yeah. So actually what it means, we are Agile. So everything what we do is doing only in this part, and if this is Agile, then this is wrong. We have to do it from day 0 till the production is done. So what it means, actually we say that we're trying to be Agile, but we have to convert all the organization, and let's say DevOps is something about it. And why it's DevOps? It's development operations, and it could be very different stakeholders. And what we have here is we have developers, business developers, and everybody who develops any kind of feature. So we want to change the system, we want to improve, we want to do something, and we have different kind of story. So it's ops. So we want to be stable enough to not break what's working, and etc. So we have kind of wall of conflict, and we always have to do some shifts around here. And when we're talking about Agile, we have more than one wall. We have Agile, and Agile fixes one first. So we are in the contact of the business, and we are very good on getting the Scrum, getting the Kanban, and how we are working with all the specifications, all the stories, etc. So this is familiar. Yep. What's not familiar yet, it's like how we develop everything and put it in the production. So in large operations, in large organizations, we have operation teams which try to run all this software what we deliver, but also in every day the operations is not the single part, it's like everybody who tries to use your product is kind of an ops. So DevOps is nothing new here. DevOps actually is based on Agile and Lean and ITSM. But what it uses, it just tries to break all the wall. And when it tries to break all the wall, it removes the components that it's not in the context of what you are doing. I'm really grateful for ITSM. Who knows what it is? Good. Few from comparisons. And what it says is it's documented every possible combination how developed can be developed. So the program can be developed. And what's missing there is that it covers all the cases possible. So if you try to implement this one, you will hit the wall because it's like it's not for you. And this is why we have Lean and we have Agile. We're just converting everything and etc. If we implement DevOps and break all the walls, so it's like free wall, yeah, without walls. We're just going from left to right, and this is very essential part. This is the process that we have to implement in order to do this from moment to kaching. Remember, we're working for a business, and everything what we do, it has to be valuable. Maybe it's in money, maybe it's in another way, but this is something that means value stream. Every single job what we do has to be valuable. And if it's not, why are you doing it? So, how it's measured? It's very easy. From to kaching, or let's say from ticket created to work completed, and actually when you started to work and when you finish it. So what does it mean in numbers? I think few of our presenters already told that, but I have some simple example. It's like custom opens the tickets, 5 minutes to create it. Support actually discovers that there is a ticket, so okay, so it just writes everything down. When it's 3 day delays before some dev tries to figure out if it's possible to do. Okay, it's possible. When it goes to the, let's say, next backlog, so it's 1 week. When it's in the backlog, it's just open the ticket, 2 days to implement. After that, we wait for the, let's say, sprint to finish, and we're fixing the production. Nice. But what it means? So, if we have only 2.5 day, business day to do it, actually it takes us about 2 weeks to do one job. These kind of different numbers is really important when you're thinking about how to automate it. So, I know these numbers is like statistics. 50% of statistics is fake, or it's like lying about the statistics, so it's the same. And let's speak about real story. So, imagine a company, but it's not startup. So what it means, it has more than one product to do. It has stable ground, so you don't have to work and drink coffee in the coffee shop. And also what it means, it doesn't have a goal to sell the company. So it means it wants to live like forever. And that the same company doesn't have the external investors. So what it means, the CEO won't be fired, the branch won't be closed, or the stock markets doesn't affect you that much. And then imagine that that company doesn't have a clients. That's getting interesting. Okay, so what it means is it has only end users, so it's creating the software for itself. And in the same time, nobody just shouting around that I want this kind of feature because I heard somewhere that it's possible to do that and maybe it will be working for me. So sometimes we don't have a clue. And what it means. So if we have no clients, we are not startups, we don't have investments. So basically what we have, so we have no budget. So what we're doing here is just we develop the prototype as much as possible till it pays off. So if we're getting the money and we have some cash to buy the bread or food, then it's okay. But there comes surprise. If we have no budget for developers means no estimates. That's interesting twist. And it's not only, let's say, DevOps, it's not only Agile, it's also the movement with hashtag no estimates. And there's few things about it. So we're seeing that estimate is waste because it's like work which doesn't bring the value. And the estimates actually just brings your morality down if you miss it or it's just not accurate and etc. So it's like, huh. So it's the same as analysis paralysis and you're just thinking about it and never do it. So why to do it? Yeah, so what DevOps is in principles and how we can just do everything what we said without budget, without estimates, without investors, and that nobody shouts around. So we have, as I said, we have principles, and all the principles are presented firstly in the goal. So it's the fear of constraints. The same book as colleague mentioned is Phoenix Project. Deeply recommended. You, as I said, you will laugh about it, and you see yourself in that book. And if you need more details how company are actually doing it, it's DevOps handbooks, which every single step are, let's say, written about, and you can just get a lot of information out of it. So first way, it means that you have to do as much as possible from left to right, and the shortest time. So what we see here is actually Kanban, and we have to just shift, and shift. And what does it mean? If we have to do it in short time, so it's fast, and we have to make a good product because nobody will use it, and we have to make it cheap because, well, we don't have budget. So pick two, yeah, basically. And what we have to do is actually we have to develop all these three features, but to do that, we have to just make it small out. And in inferior constraints, there's kind of a lot of things you have to identify, and etc. So you have to build all these kind of flow. As you mentioned before, it's like DevOps is like you're getting from left to right in this flow. And when you have a flow, just visualize it. You can just make sure that it looks like this. You find the bottleneck, and you try to eliminate it. And by eliminating it, this is, I think, the best example I found in how to react on bottlenecks. So you have a rope, so you can just pull it out and say that's when the work has to be done to you. And if you have bottleneck that you cannot reuse, you can have the buffers. So you always know that your bottleneck has always a work. So actually how developers are fixing it? Well, we have two options. If it's Agile or not. If it's Agile, okay, we can just make it more quickly. If it's not, well, I just don't work on it. So basically, if we have bottlenecks, and we have the bottlenecks, so sometimes we have bottlenecks because, well, we are doing the work, we don't have to do it. So we are talking about technical debt, and technical debt is the thing that we created before. So we have to make sure that there is kind of, the technical debt should be low and low and low. So with one of the constraints that could possibly be identified. Then there is kind of a lot of automation tasks that can be done, but it's not that fast as the reducing the technical debt. So the second way, so it's about the feedback and how you just collect it. And once again, you have to hear what's going on in another side. Do they use it? Is it okay? Does it crash anybody or not? So, and if you see that there's any kind of problem, you have to fix it as fast as possible. So it's like disaster recovery has to work and etc. So feedback is not about only how good are you, but how good are your product. In otherwise, it will be handled like this. So just always deploying and getting bad feedback. So we have to fix it, unless it's like all your paths will be unwelcome. So the best way to do it is like making the principle to know that your system is in bad condition before your clients tell you. And in order to do that, you just make a lot of dashboards, not only let's say system parameters like CPU, memory, etc., but does the user use it? And if some, let's say from the kind of, if there was kind of deployment and it just crashed, you can see that correlation between spikes and etc. So dashboards, KPIs is your friends. You have to take care of them, because if you leave it as the test and you don't care about them, it will just rot and you won't make any kind of use of them. And don't forget to get new ones inside them. And all the team, all the DevOps, all the organization have to take a look at them and make it as, like, say, your truth of how you're doing good. And the third way is continuing exploration and learning. What does this mean for us? Well, we're making postmortems, and postmortems is something you can do in blameless mode. So everybody who's makes some kind of mistake, he can come to the room and say how he could do that and how system allowed him to make a mistake. So blameless means that you cannot, system should not let you do a mistake. It's not your fault, it's a system fault. So make sure that the system doesn't allow you to drop database in the first place, and your recoveries are in place and working. This is about postmortems. And there is one kind of thing. If you're making mistake more than once, it's not experiment, it's a failure. So learn from what you're doing, and if you're not learning, well, you're failing. Once again, it's like 3 ways. Make it as fast as possible, make it visible, do what you have to do, and in this way you'll have the flow. Second way, you have to take all the feedback, so get to know that the system is running, if it's okay running, the users likes it or not, and if it's okay, you can just continue on working on what you're working. And the third way, always improve. Always take your technical depth out of it. Make postmortems in every kind of failure what the system can do. So in this way, you will just go around and make the perfect products as you can see. Yeah, so another principle that should be done in that company is that you should be replaceable. The same principle, it has to be applied besides the DevOps, because if you are sick, or if you go to the holidays, and somebody tries to contact you to get the keys to the servers, and something's wrong. Anybody else has to, or let's say the system has to allow other users in, or let's say anybody else can do the work for you, maybe not in the same speed as you can do, but this is where the value comes in. You bring the value to the company, but you are not the, let's say, bottleneck of the company. So you should be replaceable. And if we compare Waterfall, Scrum, and DevOps, life and migration, it looks like this. So first is like, 9-month baby, you just roll out and you see what's going on. Agile is like testing, doing, it's more agile, yeah, that's for sure. But with DevOps, just try, see if it's okay, not okay, like this. So it's the game as in early days, it's hot or cold. You know where you're going. If it's hot, then it's okay. If it's cold, don't go there. So be more agile, use DevOps, bring all the walls down, and you go where you want to go. Yeah. So don't let anyone stop you from making the catching. So from first to the last moment. And thanks.